All right, welcome back, and yeah, so I am here once again with Matt Dennion. We're doing a two-parter, a surprise two-parter.
Yeah, it's a blast. Thank you for having me back for the second part video. I really enjoy being on your channel.
Yeah, so Matt and I, this was actually like a video that Matt wanted to do, and, well, Matt, since this was kind of your idea, I'll let you explain it.
Sure. So, you and I did a video a little while ago talking about the Godzilla versus Justice League versus Kong, or Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong crossover.
They should have just called it Justice League versus Monsterverse.
Yeah, it would have been easier to roll off its own for sure. But the key would be you and I had discussed a lot of things we'd like to see occur in that comic. That included, some kind of, I wouldn't say obscure, but not the top tier characters from DC. But they've been happening in the comic, so I think that we definitely were of the same mindset of the writers in that respect, and it's been kind of fun to see it play out. So I know that not during the show, you and I have been talking about fun things we'd like to see in the second Godzilla versus Power Rangers crossover, and since we've had such good prognostication skills with the Justice League one, I thought we'd take a shot at this about what we'd like to see and see how it plays out in the future.
Yeah, it was so weird because Matt and I did that video like a year ago, and the comic came out, and so far, beat for beat, we have been right on everything.
Yeah, it's really uncanny, and I know, like, we'll joke that, they must have been listening to us. They definitely had it planned out before we did that video, but it's just been fun to see it work out, that, we could see how it was going to go. And so why not take another shot at it? Yeah,
why not, right? So I guess, like, what ideas, because we do know, from what we know of the synopsis so far, and this comic's coming out, April, I think?
Yeah, it seems to pick up right when the Justice League crossover ends, and right around the same time that the new Empire's coming out. So striking, I guess, as hot as the iron could be. So this will be with IDW and Boom again, not with DC and Legendary like the Justice League one, but again with IDW and Boom. And the rough synopsis, at the end of the last comic, Rita fell through a multiverse. So we saw different versions of Godzilla, different versions of the Rangers. So we know that she is going to be coming back with some kind of target set on Godzilla. We also know that for longtime Power Rangers fans, fan favorite villain Astronema from Lost in Space and Lost Galaxy will be in this comic as well, which brings a lot of interesting stuff to the table. So I know you had mentioned something that you think could potentially be the big bad behind the shadows in this.
Yeah. So first and foremost, if you bring in Astronema, you have to bring in Dark Spectre, right?
Oh, for sure. I would think so, yes.
Yeah. So I said in my video that we gotta have Godzilla versus Dark Spectre. Like, that has to happen.
Yeah, for sure. I'm dying to see that since you've mentioned it. I'd really like to see that happen.
If not, like, because Space Godzilla is apparently playing a big role here, like, as Rita's ally. If they don't do Godzilla, you gotta have some kaiju fight Space Godzilla. I mean, Dark Spectre, excuse me.
Yes, for sure. So I do think Dark Spectre will be a big component of this, and you had another good idea about how you think Space Godzilla ties into all this.
I think Space Godzilla is going to get the Zeo Crystal.
It just makes too much sense for that to be not to be what happens, right? We know he's got connection to crystals and they give him power. So what crystal is there that could give him more power than the Zeo crystal? And who would want to direct him to that maybe or try to harness it but a Dark Spectre, right?
Yeah. Plus, like, I don't think people realize that Space Godzilla is one of the openly malicious where a lot of the other even Ghidorah suffers this, where they're kind of like the puppets for some alien race. Space Godzilla is one of those openly malicious, like, I have plans kaiju.
No, for sure, yes. He is, I'll see people talk about, like, they're chaotic good, chaotic bad, or neutral, whatever. Like, Space Godzilla is just evil. He's just evil.
Yeah, and he's the other thing is, he knows he's evil. Like, he's not like, I'm being controlled, or I'm just a monster smashing shit. No, he's like, I know what I'm doing.
Yes, Yes, so he fits well into a Power Rangers mold, and for a Power Rangers villain, he's also a monster who's on the more powerful side of the Godzilla villains. So to see him in this makes a ton of sense. Also, again, they haven't officially confirmed that we'll see other Rangers other than Mighty Morphin. We did see 2 Tommies on the one cover, so that leaves open to debate if that is, since it's a multiverse, or I should say 2 a Green Ranger and a White Ranger on the one cover. So that's 2 versions of Tommy, or if that's the sort of like Boom government agent Green Ranger that we're seeing there.
Yeah, I think his name is Connor.
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
No, it's Matthew. It's Matthew. Sorry, his name's Matthew.
Matthew. Okay, so I don't know what I was saying with Connor, but anyway, yes, that character. And then, additionally, with Astronema, you would think a good chance that we get Power Rangers in Space or Lost Galaxy, right? Because spoiler for her, 15-year-old story arc, she does become a Pink Ranger in Lost in Space or Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, which is actually like I've always loved that character. It's like the perfect character arc for her.
Yes, no, she is a fantastic character arc. That's why, both as a villain and then later as a hero, why she is held in very high regard by the Power Rangers fan community.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So the multiverse aspect of this brings in a lot of potential fun encounters we can see. So I thought we might want to cover some of those.
Yeah. So, like, what are some things you were like, this has to happen kind of comic? What's something you're like, you have to do this because you might not get a third one kind of thing?
For sure. Definitely for me on this list, especially because it looks multiversal. And we did see a lot of monsters from the Toho universe in the first book. We saw a lot of villain monsters, so I'd like to see more like heroic monsters. One thing I really want to see is the White Tiger Zord, since we know Tommy, at least one version of him, is a White Ranger in this. Want to see the White Ranger Zord fighting side by side with King Caesar. I think that'd be a blast to see. Yeah,
that would be really cool. I would even, and some people have speculated this, what if we get Zord versions of Kaiju?
That would be pretty cool. And again, it could work because Lost Galaxy kind of had that, right? Where they had, their Zords weren't necessarily just robotic in nature. They did have, a biological component that sort of overlaid on top of them, right?
Yeah, they were, the Galactabeasts.
Yes, so I could definitely see something like that. This could be the case where we finally get the hinted at Mecha Mothra character, right? Mothra would be a perfect character to team up with the Rangers. That I think we'll definitely see her in this, and to see her get a Zord upgrade would be pretty cool.
Plus, you could I would love to have, and it's just kind of a character thing, Zordon and the Shobojin meeting.
Which would be pretty awesome. And then, I'm thinking in my head about Gorosaurus as a, get an overlay for the Red Ranger, and Rodan for the Pink Ranger, right? You could kind of go down the list and mix and match where these characters would be. Baragon for a Blue Ranger would be pretty fun to see. I don't know, I guess story-wise it can still work out, but the first comic did a very good job of, we just know fans think this will be fine. We're not going for, Watchmen here. So let's just do a thing fans would be fun. I think that would be some things that would be pretty interesting. The other thing I think that we'll most likely see, and I hope we do, is some of the Toho mechs teaming up and or combining with the Zords. One I have in mind a lot, since the Space Godzilla's in it, would be the UN Mogera, who kind of breaks apart anyway, like a Megazord into other Zords. Maybe combining with some of the Zords to make a new creation. What do you think?
I think that's really cool. I know some people are you included, were that would be so cool to have as a toy. The problem is that Playmates and Hasbro really got to work together on this.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll get those, unfortunately, but then again, money talks, so maybe.
Yeah, it'll probably be a con exclusive in $100.
Yeah, probably. But I got to mention, there's a couple I might buy if they were to happen. You had mentioned another one before we started. Did you want to bring that one up? That I would definitely purchase.
Yeah, I would really love to see Titanus. That's a Zord we haven't seen in the comics in a while. I don't think that we've seen him at all now that I think of it. Titanus would be really cool, and to have him merged with Jet Jaguar, or how Titanus becomes the battleizer for the Megazord. Do that, but with Jet Jaguar.
That would be awesome, because that would also give us the oft given 2 names Mega Dragon Zord or Dragon Zord in battle mode. But basically, what they use at the end of the first issue, right, where it's the Dragon Zord related.
I just thought of the name Jaguar Zord.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. But yeah, just imagine the Dragon Zord overlaid on top of Jet Jaguar, and then jumping into Titanus would be really cool and fun to see. Another thing I think that would be interesting, and I'm not sure which route they'll go with this, but would be some of the human characters from either the Toho movies or even just from the IDW comics getting some roles to play in this as well, because the IDW comics do seem to have a multiverse anyway, where it doesn't seem that the 50-year war takes place in the same universe as Gangsters and Goliaths, for instance,
Yeah.
Or Rulers of Earth.
Yeah. And that's something I think that was originally the idea with IDW, that it was going to be the Transformer comics, where they was going to have a shared universe, but they just couldn't get it together.
Right. But it does make for more interesting sometimes to have a multiverse where you can tell different stories. So that would be pretty cool. I want to see more Toho monsters too. Where I'm dying to see Goldar take on Sanda, or Sanda's comes in to save the day, and you get this gigantic throwback to War of the Gargantuas with the two giant ape-like creatures going at it. I think that would be a lot of fun. And the Gargantuas have been done well in the IDW comics in the past, so I think it could carry over.
Absolutely. I don't think we'll get it because Toho doesn't care about this property anymore, but how cool would it be if they go to a universe where it's Zone Fighter?
That would be great. I did think about that, yes. Zone Fighter would be fantastic. It would make a lot of sense. I just can't see Toho doing it. Although we did recently, didn't we get something Zone Fighter-esque?
No, we got two things for the Zone Fighter 50th anniversary. Jack and shit, and Jack left town.
Oh, okay. It's it's nothing. But yeah, Zone Fighter would be cool, although I think more likely they would just put Jet Jaguar in that role, right, as opposed to Zone Fighter.
Although, I imagine, if Cullen Bunn, because he's such a Tokusatsu fan, I guarantee you, we'll get a moment where Jet Jaguar's driving a car, and that'll be the Zone Fighter reference.
I could totally see it, which would be fun. So that would be cool. I'd like to see those things too. I'd also like to see some kind of Destroy All Monsters-esque final battle with Godzilla, multiple Zords. So again, hopefully the Astro Megazord, the Lost Galaxy Zord, Dragon Zord, Tiger Zord, etc. And then not just Godzilla, but Mothra, Rodan, maybe one of the Gargantuas taking on Serpentera. I think would be really neat to see.
Yeah, totally. It'd also be kind of cool if, when we talk about other other Toho characters, could we get other aliens in here too? Because we had the Exilians with Rita last time. Could we get the Simians or the Cetopians?
The Simians, the Cetopians, the cockroaches from Gigan, where they the Space Hunter M Nebula, I think.
Yeah.
Would make a lot of sense since they seem to capture monsters anyway. We could definitely see that. And again, we're not. It seems to be a multiverse that we're going through, so we could see different eras of that and different types of aliens from the Futurians maybe from Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Yeah,
totally. We could get them. We could also get. Another one would be a lot of fun, but they're never. I don't think they'll do it. Is having the aliens from Destroy All Monsters.
Oh, the Kilax. Yes,
the Kilax. No one gives a shit about them.
No, they're often kind of forgotten for whatever reason, which is kind of a shame because that movie is usually a high point for most fans.
Well, they're sentient rocks. That's
kind of what makes them difficult to follow, is they're sentient rocks. But it's Power Rangers, so stranger things have certainly occurred in Power Rangers.
I will say, if they bring in the Kilax, maybe they upgrade the putties.
I could see that too. Yeah, that would make sense as far as the connection goes. Yes.
Yeah. And I know what someone's gonna say, oh, that's too much. How would you tie it all together? Have it that Dark Spectre is expanding the Council of Evil. I think that's what it's called. If I remember right, his little Council of Evil,
so.
And he's expanding it with the Exilians, the Kilax, the Simians, and the Cetopians. Hey, we're getting bigger.
No, make total sense because I think, like you had said, especially in the Boom Studios comic, what we have seen Dark Spectre, he's more cunning and vicious than even he was in the TV series. Like, I think you had mentioned he's kind of akin to being their version of Darkseid.
Yeah, like he is definitely like their Darkseid in that universe, especially like if you read the Phantom Ranger comic, that like is the origin for Power Rangers.
Right.
Yeah, which was actually really good. I highly recommend that book. That was a cool retelling of the Phantom Ranger origin.
But just so many fun things on the table here, right? That I cannot wait to see what comes from it. Especially, like, I'm glad they're branching out to a little more than just Mighty Morphin. Obviously, they're most popular. They're what people know. But In Space and Lost Galaxy are two of the better seasons. I mean, listen, nothing would make me happier than if we get Godzilla on RPM's universe, though. Like, with Vengeance is like, what the hell is this? We gotta take it out. And you see, like, basically Vengeance go Skynet and just send everything at Godzilla. I think would be a blast.
Or Vengeance getting Mechagodzilla.
Oh, right. Or Mechagodzilla. Right. Take your pick of fun things that could occur there.
Yeah. Like, he's just like, like you could have it, Vengeance, like, looks up data on his universe's Godzilla that died. And have it, like, he just instantly builds and possesses a Mechagodzilla.
Would be phenomenal. And I could totally see something like that going down. And then we could see Rangers taking on, like, Mighty Morphin Rangers taking on some of the villains from In Space or something like that would be pretty cool, right? You had mentioned one encounter.
Yeah, like, I would love to see Ecliptor and Tommy throw down.
Yeah, I definitely could see that occurring as well. What do you think Astronema's arc will be in this? Do you think we'll get to see her become Corone in this, or no?
I don't think we'll have her be Corone. I do think, however, that Astronema is going to be, like, you know, like, she's going to, like, her and Rita are going to, like, butt heads. And, like, Astronema's like, I came from, the Dark Spectre sent me, you can't do shit. I don't care your dad's Master Vile.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. She would be interesting with some of the characters that could potentially be brought in from the movies. For instance, like the Katsura character from the show of Mechagodzilla would make, like, kind of a lot of sense to be juxtaposed with Astronema, where, you know, it's somebody whose mind has been kind of taken over. Or fan favorite Miki Sagusa, like, trying to break through whatever hold is on her, could be interesting too. But I don't think we've seen any of the human characters from the movies appear in the IDW comics, have we? We
did get Miki Sagusa in a Titanosaurus one-shot, and that was it.
That was it, okay. For the most part, they just kind of make up original characters, right?
Yeah. Like, like, I think it just, like, I think that was part of the stipulant for them, was that they could use the Shobojin, but they couldn't use anyone else originally. But I think that might have changed, who knows?
Who knows?
And you talked about a really cool idea, too, for if you had the human characters from in this crossover from Godzilla.
Oh, I'd love to see him go to the Final Wars universe and see John Fry's Captain Gordon just take on one of the human-sized villains. I don't care who, Scorpina, Goldar, Ecliptor, Astronema. I think that would just be fun. He's the type of character that would fit there. It's also interesting, most Power Rangers crossovers, the turtle ones come to mind, for instance, end up with, like, the heroes getting some kind of a power coin themselves. So I don't know that there's too many human characters. I mean, Don Fry's character would be great for that, or Mickey would be cool for, like, to get a coin and become a ranger. But I think what's more likely is, like you had said, perhaps some of the Toho monsters getting sort of a Zord upgrade is a more likely route to go. Yeah.
Although I will say, like, you know, Miki Sagusa is, like, maybe... I would even say Miki Sagusa for the Red Ranger would be an awesome sight.
I think so, too. She'd be a great Red Ranger, and we don't get too many female Red Rangers. There's, like, Lauren from Samurai, right? Springs to mind, but Mickey'd be great.
Yeah, and they've done, like, 3 female Red Rangers in the Boom comics.
Yes. And Mickey would be the one to go with, I think, right? She's already a fan favorite. Pretty much the entire Godzilla community loves her. It's hard to find one thing that the entire Godzilla community loves, but Mickey would be one of them.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I will say that, like, another thing that we'll probably get, or hopefully get, is Godzilla versus Godzilla. because we're doing multiverse, maybe we have... I would love to see this version of Godzilla and have, like, GMK Godzilla just come smashing his way in.
That would be great. The GMK Godzilla would fit a lot there. Oh, that's interesting. What if, like, Dark Spectre was, like, took over the GMK Godzilla? You know, since he's, like, kind of a spirit absorption thing anyway. Or you all talked about 54 Godzilla, you know, like Rita comes up with like, oh, I found something that's, you know, scarier than any of you. What did you can find? And it's the 54 Godzilla.
Yeah. I doubt we'll get -1 in here.
I do too. I mean, it'd be cool, but I would, if we're looking for evil Godzillas, you know, quote unquote, GMK or 54 would fit. GMK would be like a very nice fan pick that also is like a little bit of a nod to -1 given the influence it had on there.
Yeah. I'll also say like Tokyo SOS Godzilla. He's pretty evil.
Yeah, Tokyo SOS I can see. Oh man, I'd love to see a couple Zords taking on the GMK Godzilla though. That would be really fun.
And he did get a cameo at the end of the first one.
Yes, if I recall, we got him and like the Godzilla. It looked like the Showa one from like King from Three-Headed Monster and from versus Mothra, right?
Yeah.
The GMK one makes a lot of sense. Actually, I could totally see that being the case.
Yeah. I will say like maybe we could get Zilla in a cameo.
Zilla would be a really fun cameo, actually, and I could see it happening. His appearance in Rulers of Earth was met with pretty good response, I would say, right?
Yeah. Although knowing, I have this feeling that Cullen Bunn would make him a joke.
I could see that. The only thing like I had a little bit of difficulty placing was, aside from Dark Spectre, any monsters from like in space or potentially Lost Galaxy that we'd like to see take on Godzilla. Like from Mighty Morphin, there's a lot that they would be able to pull from. Aside from, we saw Goldar and Scorpion, we also saw like Eye Guy and Grumblebee and like, you know, monsters that were kind of known, but I don't know if any are jumping out to me from the other two series that I'd like to see in there from the Power Rangers side of things.
Yeah, sadly not really. Like, we remember a lot, because they're so memorable for Mighty Morphin. The problem is a lot of them aren't memorable outside of, like, the villains and the henchmen.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where you get, like, the Dark Spectre or Astronomer Ecliptor.
Yeah. I will also, I just thought of this, Matt. I would love to see, if not Ecliptor, because we'll probably get Ecliptor, but I would love to see Villamax from Lost Galaxy have a fight with Tommy.
That would be cool, too. That would be pretty amazing. I'd be in for any of those things. So we haven't seen that even in the comics, really. So that would be fantastic. I'm just really looking forward to this. I felt like they really hit a home run with the first one, and I'm really looking forward to this next one.
Yeah. So, like, for the ending, we talked about, like, holy crap, that's got to be the ending, right? There's no other way.
Yes.
The ending... It was
your idea.
The ending we're thinking is that at the end, Rita's defeated, Space Godzilla's defeated, Dark Spectre, if he's in here, he's fucked off or died. And what we get at the end is a final shot, and it's like, I'm gonna finish... the multiverse is mine, or rather ours, and it's Lord Dracon and Destroya behind him.
Yeah, the two big bads. I don't see how you can do a Power Rangers multiverse story without incorporating Dracon, right? So that makes total sense. And if you need like a threat beyond all threats from the Godzilla universe, Destroya obviously springs to mind.
Yeah, and if you're like going to end this as a trilogy, you need to end it with a bang with those two.
Yes, yeah, and then I guess we'll have to see what happens in this one, and then go from there where we think what else we can see going forward. But yeah, those are the key points. As long as we get Godzilla taking on Dark Spectre, I'll be thrilled, honestly.
Yeah. Even if it's like Space Godzilla versus Dark Spectre, that'll be a nice substitute.
I'll be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. I think anything else last minute?
No, I think that's it. Again, thank you for having me on here. People can follow me again on Facebook at Matthew Dennion, Pascmat1, PASC1 on X, Twitter, and of course, please look for all my books on Amazon. New Atomic Rex should be out any day now, which is a crossover, as since we're talking about crossovers, with Alan O.W. Barnes and Timothy Price's Big in Japan, so it'll be Atomic Rex, Big in Japan.
That sounds really awesome. I'm excited. And now that I have my writing computer back, I can finally get back to work on my book.
Oh, looking forward to it. And again, might see a cameo of somebody in Atomic Rex Big in Japan.
Yeah. Maybe he's a creation of mine. Maybe there is a monster to look forward to in the future.
Be interesting to see. People have to read it and check it out.
Yeah. All right. So you guys tell us in the comments below, what do you guys want to see from this crossover? Once again, I'd like to thank Matt for joining me on this video. And yeah, other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.